Hey, it's August 9th, 2020, and haven't had a video in a couple days. Last video I did was talking about sperm donation. You know, I'm a lesbian, so like that's probably biologically that's how this shit's gonna work, you know. So I'm enjoying my cigarettes and my energy drink because apparently that's something that's gonna have to go out the window pretty soon, which is fun. But good thing about it is I don't drink, so I don't have to give that up. I don't do drugs or anything, and I'm pretty healthy, generally speaking. So yeah, my last video was about sperm donation and some of the avenues and some of the available resources I have, and I was kind of on the fence about using a known donor versus somebody that I don't know that's going to have no contact with the child, which I'm going into this as a single mother. Like I'm making the informed decision as an adult, a 30-year-old female, that I'm going to go into this as a single mom, and that's where I'm at. And so you know, I've talked to some of the donors that are going to want no contact, that are not known to me. I don't know them personally, they're not friends or anything. And then I've talked to a couple of my friends, and I spent the big chunk of Friday, today's Sunday, but I spent the big chunk of Friday speaking to some friends of mine that that are willing to donate and where they're at, and asking some very I guess intrusive questions, but like, you know, they have to be asked communication wise, you know, to see about expectations and what you know, there's a lot of emotions to it as far as like, you know, questions that you don't think of but will come up eventually, like you know, what are your expectations of like contact with the child? Like, are you trying to be called dad or uncle or friend, or you know what I mean? And I felt like it was important to ask those questions specifically of them instead of me telling them what I wanted and what my expectations were, where I can maybe get a more honest answer to see where they were at sitting with that emotional decision. And it varies wildly. I don't know, I've learned a lot of things that I really didn't think I would encounter with this, but like they vary wildly as far as expectations and emotions with this kind of decision from people, you know. I've spoke to one possible donor that wanted a co-parenting situation that I've known a really long time, but there was a lot of emotion in it, and we've been very close for a very long time. We've been through some very serious things together that have built a bond between us, but that they wanted a co-parenting situation, and I don't think that's what's best for me in my situation, and going into this as a single parent and a lesbian. So like, I don't know if that was the right one. I've talked to another one that was very business-like in that, and saw it as just an opportunity to help a friend create a family that they want. You know, a friend of mine is asking me to do something for them because they want to start a family and they can't do it by themselves, and I'm just willing to step up to the bat and help them out. And I think that's more of where I'm at in the situation. I think that would be the best route. So I have made a decision as far as what route I'm going to do. So I am going to use a known donor because there's some benefits. There's some cons, we'll talk about that, but the benefits are, like, you know, when this child starts asking about biologically where they come from, and biologically where their genetics came from, you know, because it does take a mom and a dad, a mother and a father. Biologically, there has to be a man and a woman to create a life, and they'll be asking those questions at some point, and I want them to be able to at least meet them or lay eyes on them and say, hey, you know, this is technically, I mean, biologically, your father, you know, and I want them to have that opportunity, you know. Also, the benefits of having a known donor is I know genetics. I've known them for decades, and I know what kind of heart they have. I know what their morals and values are. I know genetically that they're healthy. I know they don't have any pre-existing conditions that might affect the child. the known donor that I'm going to use, he has a wife already, which is great because that void has been filled in his life. He has 2 children, a boy and a girl, so those voids have been filled in his life. You know, he has plenty on his plate, and he already has his family, which is great because I imagine if you were donating sperm and the possibility of it being your firstborn, you know, that might have some implications on somebody. And I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to hurt anybody or harm anybody, and that's something I want to continue on through this process. But, like, you know, I can sit and think of scenarios and situations and stuff, and some good friends of mine have let me know that that's stuff any mother to be is going to think about. You know, you're going to think about the future and try to figure out answers to all the questions that may come up, you know, but eventually you're just going to have to deal with them as they come, you know, and I think that's important for me to remember, that I'm not going to be able to avoid all the hard, you know, conversations, and I shouldn't, but like just kind of dealing with them as they come. So now I've made the decision about who I'm going to use for, you know, sperm donation and stuff, and now I've got to move into the realm of, like, I haven't ovulated this month, so there may be apparently you can ship sperm, so there's kits you can get online, and the guy I'm going to use is not in the same state, so like I'm looking into that route to see. It's less effective as a fresh donation, but also you know, as far as, you know, I want to pick the right person regardless of logistics. So we're going to look into that and see how that goes. If everything works out perfectly and I can get him on board and I can get, you know, the supplies where they need to be at the right time, I might could try this month, as early as this month. If I don't ovulate in the next couple days, hopefully it might work out. So there's a peak window of about 3 days after, you know, there's a peak ovulation. You know, you're ovulating, and then there's a peak ovulation the next day, and then, you know, less of a peak, that, you know, so there's about a 3 to 5 day window there that I'm shooting for, and this is the first month that I've tracked any kind of ovulation or anything, so it might be a little bit more of a shot in the dark comparatively, because I don't have any comparatives of like last month's cycle or anything, but like I'll continue to track, and I'll continue to try to get that sweet spot, and we'll see. If it's meant to be, it'll work out. You know, I'm not gonna force anything. I am gonna, like, you know, try to wrap my head around the process and you know, do a due diligence, you know, in a way, but like hopefully if it's meant to be and everything, the stars align and stuff, that's great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. But we're gonna keep on keeping on. That's where I'm at.